The first orange belt technique is clutching feathers. Again, in Kenpo's own unusual naming conventions, feathers in this case would mean hair. And it is the only hair grab that we have in our whole system. Okay, so essentially the way clutch and feathers will work is, as we said, it's against that hair grab. So your head is being pulled down and forward. Now again, it wouldn't be one of these from the front. The attack would be essentially grab as much of the middle of the hair. I don't have too much at the moment. But again, grab as much of the middle of the hair and you are being pulled forward to a point where you're bent forward. Now, of course, that could put you into a position where you're going to be hit, punched, whatever it may be, kneed if you pull down low enough, any of these different things that can happen as well. So the first things first is in any hair grab, or in this particular hair grab, of course, being the only one we have, you need to relieve some of the pressure, or relieve some of the pressure in this case. So again, we would first off have our hand going on top of the attacker's hand and pressing down, just to relieve some of that pressure, as I said, to kind of prevent more squeezing and pulling of the hair at that stage. So again, we'd be putting our hand down. Now, another thing that we'll note is when people do this, and I'll do it to the face here, they tend to put their hand on top and step back, leaving a wide open space right here. Again, if you're being grabbed by one hand, you can be punched very quickly by this one as well. And it's, not the most ideal thing to try and block while also trying to strike. So one of the things that we would say is when you're stepping back, you would put your hand to the front of your head and create a frame with your elbow at this point. So again, that's just presenting a narrow line. It's not as easy to get directly into your face at this stage. So again, we would frame ourselves in this way. As we're doing that, and we'll take it from the side again, we are doing a very similar step to what we would have done in our earlier yellow belt techniques, such as delayed sword or sword of destruction. We're going to take our step back. In doing so, what we're aiming to do here is essentially stretch out the person's arm as they're grabbing us. So it's our left hand hair grab at this point. But again, their arm is bent. We want to make sure that we're extending that and also canceling out their width at the same time. So when we take our step back, we're taking our step as so, and then we're locking to our neutral position. Again, this is causing a stretch out on the person potentially and preventing them from using that secondary hand that isn't doing the grab at that stage. So again, when we drop back, we're going to hit our mid-knuckle strike. So again, mid-knuckle strike typically into the armpit here. So again, it could be a rib shot, it could be other things like that. Again, depending on the target, depending on the strike, you might just hit a vertical punch into the ribs, the floating ribs, whatever it may be at that stage. But again, your main thing here is, as it's written, is this mid-knuckle punch into the armpit. From that position, if we do it on a baseline, we've got an outward extended to clear the arm, and then we have a palm strike down the middle into the face. So again, we're going to take our step back, we're going to hit, we're going to do our outward strike or outward block at this point, and then we're going to hit our palm strike, okay? The other variation on this is, and again, this is down to regulation of timing and speed, is something you do when you're more advanced. Again, it sets up for potentially the extension for this technique, which is taught for brown belt as well. So again, when we take our step back, as we take our step back and we hit, this is the extension. Rather than treat this as singular movement, 1, 2, as you see there, basically what will happen is as we clear this move, we would push forward with that strike. And again, that strike would be to the face at that stage. So in terms of regulation of your timing, you're now turning 2 strikes into 1, or 1 movement at the same time. So again, it's getting rid of that and adding that concept of width that Parker would have talked about as well.